This year, for the first time, we are holding the State of the Band on a Saturday. We heard our band members who suggested it, and whether you are joining us in person or virtually, we are glad you are here. I am honored to welcome our friends, relatives, community and band members, and especially our elders. The drum group will now perform the flag song. However, we will not be bringing the flags in. We already have them posted. Miigwech, Vernon, and Black Eagle. As you can see from the agenda for the event today, we have some exciting speeches and information to share with you. Our District 2 representative, Robert Moyer, is not able to join us today as he is on official Tribal Council business. This year, instead of 5 speeches from our Tribal Council, we have 3. So we invited 2 of the senior management team members, one from the Bois Forte Development Corporation and one from the Bois Forte Tribal Government to highlight their programs and services for you, along with our Tribal Council. First, I will tell you a little bit about me. Some of you know me, some of you may not. I am a proud Bois Forte band member, and I grew up and still live on the Bois Forte Reservation. My parents are Edith Villebrin and the late David Fox Villebrin Sr. Both of my parents worked for the Bois Forte Reservation. My mom worked in accounting for 44 years. And my dad was also a previous executive director for the band. I have 2 brothers, Dave and John. And I've been happily married to my husband, Tim, for 22 years. Together, we have 3 kids, Kristen, Timothy, and Angeline. And recently, we became grandparents to our 8-month-old twin grandsons, Asher and Andrew. In my spare time, I enjoy golfing, bingo, beading, watching the ID channel, reading, deer hunting, fishing, and as with a lot of you in the audience, spending time with my family. I began working for the band in 1997 as a background investigator. I then became the benefits coordinator in 2005, and then the human resources director in 2010. Then I was the judicial services director in 2020. And then I went back to the Human Resources Director position in 2021, and finally the Executive Director just last month. I am excited to work for and serve all of you in my new position. My immediate goal in this position is to improve communication between the Bois Forte Band and our members. Please do not hesitate to reach out or call me if you need to. Do you have the slide? There's my phone number and also my email address, so please do not hesitate to reach out if you need to. In another effort to increase communication, when I was talking with my daughter who lives near the cities and asking her if she knew who ran this department, who ran that department, she didn't know, and she grew up here on the reservation until she left. Left for college, graduated college, and is now living down near the cities. And so I figure if she doesn't know our senior management members, a lot of you probably don't either. So we're going to show them on the slide. If I have any senior management in the room, any senior management team members, when I call your name, please stand up, give a wave, because there are a few of them here today. A lot of them were here and had to leave for other previous what do you call those? Appointments, engagements. Thank you. So in another effort to increase communication, I will start off by introducing you to our senior management team. First is Vondalee Carr. She is our 477 program director. Next is Randy Long, our information technology director. Randy's in the back of the room. Hi, Randy. Our human resources director position is currently vacant, but is being filled in the interim by Simona Benner. Travis Vaki is the Chief Executive Officer of the Boys and Girls Clubs. Wendy Drift is the Duluth Urban Office Coordinator, so she is located in Duluth to help our band members in the Duluth area. Jalen Strong is the Heritage Center Executive Director. Jalen is also a brand new papa. Carol Burr is the Planning and Community Development Director. Robbie Goglai is our Maintenance Director. Jackie Wilson is our Minneapolis Urban Office Coordinator. Jamie Burdick is the Chief of Police. Janelle Goglai is our Housing Director. Melissa Wright, who you will hear from pretty soon, is our Judicial Services Director. Melissa's in the back. Chris Holm is our Natural Resources Director. Kim Greiner is our Chief Financial Officer. Dan Rabideau is our Chief Executive Officer of our Health and Human Services Department. Barb Rodin is our Internal Compliance Director. Brian Whiteman Sr., to the left, is our Public Works Director. And finally, Amy Mason is our Energy Director. Our next speaker this afternoon is Drew Ebert. Drew is our Chief Executive Officer at the Bois Forte Development Corporation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Drew Ebert, and I am the CEO of Enterprises for the Tribe. It is truly an honor to stand before you today and share in this moment of celebration and reflection. Today, I want to focus on something groundbreaking, something that represents resilience, innovation, and the power of community. Your newest business product, Ishkahday. The name Ishkahday, chosen by Hannah Leddy, holds profound meaning. In Anishinaabe, it means fire, a word that carries with it warmth, strength, and transformation. It is a fitting name for a business that is igniting new opportunities, setting a bold precedent, and bringing a luxury experience to life within the community. Last August, the Tribal Council made a bold and strategic decision to approve the creation of the Bois Forte Cannabis Corporation and launch a new retail space. From that decision, a vision was born, and I was tasked with bringing it to life. The journey to raise this product from scratch was met with challenges, tight budgets, aggressive timelines, and the unknowns of an evolving industry. But challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities to prove what is possible. I was fortunate to have Jeff Holt, the tribe's attorney, a brilliant man, and Tanisha Dupree, our innovation manager, by my side. Tanisha's expertise, determination, and ability to refine our strategic recommendations were invaluable. Together, we mapped out everything. Site preparation, utilities, the building itself, security, human resources accounting, and every other physical and administrative necessity. We built this from the ground up, ensuring every detail was addressed to create a strong foundation for success. In November, we took a significant step forward by hiring several dispensary agents, individuals selected not just for their skills, but for their passion, because passion fuels excellence. That same month, we welcomed Paxton Goodsky as our retail manager. Paxton's deep understanding of the industry, coupled with his charisma and drive, made him an essential force in bringing this vision to fruition. With Paxton, Tanisha, and myself forming the core leadership team, we became a dynamic trifecta, working relentlessly to refine and finalize every remaining aspect while waiting for administrative clearances. In December, the Tribal Council made another strategic decision, hiring Sadie Whitebird to lead compliance. Sadie played a crucial role in establishing guidelines, regulatory structures, and documentation that ensured Ishkay would operate with integrity, legality, and a deep commitment to consumer safety. Compliance became our backbone, allowing us to finalize total product needs and lay the groundwork for long-term success. By January, our compliance efforts enabled us to receive our product vendor application for tribes with cannabis grows, ensuring we could begin partnerships in a way that was both efficient and legally sound. February saw the finalization of hemp regulations, paving the way for product acquisition. The tribes already growing cannabis moved swiftly, collaborating with our compliance, legal, and retail team. Thanks to their hard work and dedication, we secured high-quality products from White Earth and Prairie Island just in time for our grand opening yesterday. This achievement was no small feat. We built an entirely new business from scratch in a pioneering industry with a limited workforce and budget, all within just 6 months. And we did it for well under $2 million, an amount that covered total product costs, several months of salaries, including the next few, and every operational expense to bring Ishkay to life. For perspective, Prairie Island spent upwards of $3 million for their retail launch and took well over a year. So while the project may have seemed slow at times, the reality is that we are like lightning in our budget, timeline, and efficiency. This is not just a business accomplishment. This is a testament to the power of collaboration, resilience, and strategic execution. Personally, I have been in this role for just 10.5 months. And this marks the first successful business product the corporation has launched since acquiring the Y Store in 2006. That speaks volumes about what we are capable of when we work together. Align our goals and push forward with determination. To everyone involved, Tribal Council, our dedicated team members, vendors, and supporters, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your tireless efforts, belief in the vision, and commitment to excellence have made this possible. We did not just launch a business, we ignited a fire that will burn bright for years to come. Let Ishkay be a symbol of what we can accomplish together. Let it be a beacon of innovation, strength, and progress. And let it remind us that when we come together with a shared purpose, there is no limit to what we can achieve. Thank you.
Miigwech Drew. Next on the agenda, we have Melissa Wright, our Judicial Services Director.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Miranda said, I'm Melissa Wright, and I am the Judicial Services Director of the Tribal Court. And I've been in my position for about 2.5 years now, but have been employed by the tribe for over 13 years. I'm honored to have been selected to speak to you all and provide an update on what's going on in the Judicial Services Division. We've been very busy. I would like to start out by introducing our current staff. We have Megan Troyer, who is our Chief Judge, Janelle Smith, our Probation and SORNA Compliance Officer, Cecile Schauer, Court Clerk. We have 2 judges who assist when Judge Troyer has a conflict or is unable to hear a case, and they are David Harrington and Chris Sallery. Ben Pachito is our Tribal Prosecutor, Joy Parker, our Family Health Services Attorney, Heidi Dominic, Wesley Martins, and Brittany Mayberry are our Public Defense Attorneys. We also have 3 appellate judges, Chris Anderson, Philip Bardeen, and David Harrington. With collaboration with the 477 program and a grant that they received, we developed a new position at the court. Our judicial data entry clerk position is currently vacant and open for application. So if anyone's interested, please apply. The past few years have been very busy and productive. With the assistance of the Office of Tribal Justice Supports through the BIA, we obtained a court assessment to aid us in reviewing our court functioning. This assessment was conducted by a contracted third-party firm with the BIA and involved coming on site to our court and observing, interviewing key stakeholders, and reviewing our court files. This assessment report provides us with a starting point by helping us identify areas that can be improved upon, showcased gaps and needs, and highlighted our strengths. After getting this done, we are now eligible through the TJS to receive one-time funding up to 5 years to be utilized to complete the project identified in that assessment. Through another grant by the Department of Justice, we worked on and created a tribal justice strategic plan. During this project, we worked with key stakeholders of the tribal justice team over the course of the last 2 years. We sent out community flyers to gather your feedback on key areas of the tribal justice system, and we appreciate and thank those who took the time to complete them. Interviews were conducted with many stakeholders, and all of this data was reviewed and compiled to be used to establish our strategic plan, which will be for the next 5 years. It's near completion and in its final revision stage, and once approved by the Tribal Council and submitted to the DOJ, will put Boys Forward at priority funding and increase our chances of being awarded grant funding opportunities through the DOJ. Another project that we completed is that we recently onboarded with the Tribal Access Program through the Department of Justice. This allows tribes access and capabilities to view and input into the National Crime Information System, which we didn't have access to before. With the recent approval made by Tribal Council, we will be inputting our criminal histories, warrants, and orders for protection coming this year. So watch out for our next warrant resolution event if you have a warrant with us, because you may want to get it taken care of before we go on the national database system. Our warrant list is located online, or we had it at our booth. Many of you were checking that out. We also received a new fingerprint kiosk through this program that allows us to run background checks more quickly for employment of covered positions and foster care licensing. This machine also allows us to input data for sex offender registry straight to the FBI. That is a requirement. We no longer have to manually get the fingerprints with the ink and mail them out. We have been working with tribal attorneys and the council, along with the SMART office, to update the SORNA code and improve policies and procedures for ensuring compliance with registry requirements. Many of you may have noticed an increase in community notification meetings. These are the efforts in relation to compliance and increasing community awareness. We encourage everyone to get familiar with our public sex offender registry website and sign up for the automatic alerts for when new registrations occur within our jurisdiction. This can be accessed by going to the Boys For It website under Judicial Services in the SORNA section. We also have flyers with the QR code on it that can link you right to the website with the use of a smartphone. If anyone has questions or concerns or tips that they want to provide, you can anonymously submit this through this website. We also been busy working on improving staff workspaces, getting necessary equipment for the court, touring and visiting with other tribal courts in the state, developing policies and procedures, enhancing our probation services, and updating tribal codes such as the SORNA code, probate code, elder and vulnerable abuse codes, and VAWA 22. We continue to review all other tribal codes to identify any gaps or revisions that may also be needed. In this last year, we underwent a huge file reorganization project and improved how we handle, label, and store our court documents. All files are now kept in fireproof file cabinets, and we are in the process of making all of our records going to be stored electronically on a software system. We worked with IT and have updated the department page on the Boys For It website and have created court forms which now are accessible online to help make it easier to file within our court. We continue to seek technology enhancements for improving our court. Over 90% of court cases that come through our court have some sort of substance use or mental health concern associated. We are currently working closely with behavioral health and substance use departments at Boys For It to increase communication and collaboration on these cases to ensure our defendants are getting the needed services that are court ordered. In addition to that, we are also networking with other service providers to help gain more access to additional needed resources for our defendants, and our probation officer is doing a great job with this. We are looking to establish and create a wellness court as one of our bigger goals for the future. Tribal Healing to Wellness courts take a more holistic approach to criminal matters by bringing together community healing resources with the tribal justice process. Our court is unique in the fact that we have retroceded Public Law 280. This means that we take on the responsibility of criminal jurisdiction within our reservation boundaries. Red Lake is the only other tribe in Minnesota that does this. Our tribal court was established back in 1975, and we are coming up on our 50th court anniversary. In honor of that, we will be hosting a celebration on May 22nd at 2 o'clock at the tribal court building, and we will be honoring Lucille Morrison, who was the court clerk for 34 years, by dedicating the courtroom in her memory. We hope you all join us in celebrating. The coming years for the court will continue to be just as busy, enhancing and improvement, and we are looking forward to that continued growth. If anyone has any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. And if you missed the get out of jail free cards, I'm at the back table. Just kidding. Miigwech meet you. Thank you for listening.
Miigwech, Melissa. Next on our agenda, we have our District 1 Representative, Perry Drift.
Buju ga kanawia, nashkimanas indigenous cause, makwa nadudem, speakune zagaga nunjba, miigwech kabisha kuma. Maybe I'm losing it right now, sorry. But no, I just want to say, oh, that's what I wanted to say. Ninunda meno nagomoin, Emma. See, when I have to switch from English to Anishinaabe, it just whirls my brain, and I try to keep going back and forth. But heard good singing here today, and I want to thank you all for being here. Tribal leaders, directors, staff, Ishkude, Y-Store, all these businesses, and if I left anyone out, I apologize. I didn't mean to. I just want to talk about what I'm passionate about and what drove me to want to be the District 1 representative. And it was a lot of things: our wild rice, our land, our resources, our language, our business infrastructures, everything that sets us aside differently from the state. And I'm still learning as a 33-year-old adult male. And honestly, I sometimes I feel like my cerebral cortex just closed, because they say most males, it doesn't close till like 30, 32. So, so I'm learning, I'm freestyling my speech right now, because I don't like reading from papers. I like to speak from the heart, and I like to speak, not that the other speakers didn't, but I just like freestyling. And seeing their quotes, their favorite quotes that really inspired me. Well, Jalen's made me laugh. Jalen Strong, that was a good one. But mine is, Mewaja Amikaban Kagi Gadu. Kinagego Maya Maguk Money Duod. That means everything around us is spiritual. And that's so profound. And those of you who don't know who Larry Amick was, he was a fluent and first speaker from Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. And he was one of my grandfather's good friends, and they would oftentimes speak Ojibwe to each other in meetings, and nobody would know what they were saying. And I won't lie, sometimes they'd probably say some pretty mean things, but that's just how that, it's humorful, I personally don't do that, but it's hearing stories, and I want to tell all the young kids here, young children and teens, follow your dream, believe in yourself, that everything else will fall into place. Learn your language, get educated, get that degree, go out and get it. The world isn't going to come to you. You have to go to the world. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. And I just want to end it out on a positive note. And I want to thank everybody here. And the future is just bright. It really is. It's very bright with everything that we've been learning. I know there was a few band members that were upset that we weren't out in Washington, D.C., but we weren't the only tribal leaders that weren't out in Washington, D.C. Personally, I have a meeting next month to go to Washington, D.C. Chairman Drift set up with our lobbyist, our legislator. I have to meet with them down in Washington, D.C., and I will have directors and staff provide me bullet points in regards to the funding that could be affected. There's a lot. I don't want to scare anybody, but no worries. Like, I will go down there and I will talk on behalf of tribal nations, you all, our land, our resources, our education. Right now, I just feel like I said it behind closed doors. I said, I feel like this administration is just attacking, and they're seeing what they can take and what they can't take. It's a game of, politics, it's rough, but as a people, we have been through tougher things, from genocide, losing our language, boarding schools, violence against our Native relatives that go missing every year. We can persevere this. We can get through this. And there's going to come a time where we have to learn from this. They can take this funding whenever they want. Now we're learning that. We never knew that before. So now we need to learn from this, build and diversify our business portfolios, and get back to the old ways. We used to be able to hunt, fish, and feed ourselves. We never looked for anybody else to do it for us. This funding now, though, can affect many things, but we can beat this. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Perry. Wow, I wish I could speak like that. Freestyle. Next up, we have our Secretary Treasurer, Tara Gizik.
Okay, have some patience with me, because following Perry with the language, I don't know, I'm a little intimidated. But I just know just enough to get by. Tara, or Anin, Buju, Tara, Indigenous, Adik Indundem, Asibikine Zagegan, Ndujiba, Miigwech, Gibija Umma. I said, hello, my name is Tara. I'm from the Caribou clan, and I'm from Nett Lake. Thank you for coming. Again, here I'll start. Again, Buju. And I'm going to read, sorry. I got a lot to say. It is both a pleasure and an honor to be here today. I hope many of you got to visit with each other earlier in the day, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy lives to be at the 2025 Voice Fort State of the Band address. This event is truly a testament to how we gather as a people to rekindle old friendships and strike up new ones. Seeing our elders congregate with one another on this special day means the world to me. We hope you got the chance to visit all the informational booths. Our staff work extremely hard to provide services to our band members, so please take advantage of the opportunities you all have. Let's give them all a nice round of applause for being here today. Miigwech. When I look back at 2024, I saw a lot of progress on projects that were done to improve our operations and our efficiencies in providing quality service to you all. The work our staff does on behalf of you all, it is not easy. It took a lot of hard work and teamwork to make it all possible. As we traverse through 2025, I believe Voice Fort can be on the cusp of greatness. Some items I'd like to report on are as follows. The audit schedule. Let's get the difficult one out of the way first. Bois Forte hasn't passed an official budget since the end of 2018, early 2019. That is a fact. Whether it be the vast influx of COVID monies, staff shortages, and an archaic software system that slowed us. To remedy the situation, we have implemented an audit schedule to be caught up by December 2026. We've had weekly and monthly meetings with the auditors to stay on track. We've also moved auditing duties from the CFO to the comptroller last December 2024. A new procedure we've enacted is the single audit reports will go to the entire council, executive director, and comptroller. It used to just go with the chair and CFO, but including everybody, that's really good inclusion and knowledge sharing. So that should help us share everything that we need and then share and then report out to you. Next is the timeline for the software. Our consultant, Tyler Technologies, has recommended we extend the live date due to coding and conversion of the volume of information in the old system. So the HR software will go live on October 1, 2025, and the accounting software will go live on January 1st, 2026. This will make us much more efficient all the way around. Next is the 105L leasing. I'll just say Bois Forte is the leader in 105L leasing. This program is fairly new and is a federal dollars law enacted by Congress for utilities and maintenance costs for 638 contracts with BIA and IHS facilities. This ensures we can pay maintenance and utility costs with federal program dollars and stop paying with our own tribal dollars. We went from roughly 6 buildings when I started as Secretary Treasurer to now 20 buildings that will be covered by these funds, which saves the band money. My next thing is business proposals and the resolution. Resolution 66-2019 sets a formal action for band member input on any purchase of business the Tribal Council is considering. When any council member asks or is approached by someone to purchase their business, my approach is always to ask these questions, and I'm listing them here. Is there an independent appraisal? What are the property taxes? We need at least 3 years of profit and loss statements and expenses from that business, from that company. What is our budget to purchase? Is there a feasibility study? Why is the seller leaving or selling the business? How long has it been on the market? What are the zoning regs if off reservation? The goal is to put the land into trust. Are there any barriers to that? I will not be in favor of purchasing someone else's failed business. Those practices do not lead the band to success. And again, we held the ribbon cutting for our Ishkade dispensary yesterday, which was well attended. You could feel the excitement in the air. We hope Ishkade is the spark we need to diversify our portfolio. Miigwech to you band members for approving the cannabis dispensary business. I'm very proud of the staff that committed themselves to this endeavor. It was tough. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Miigwech. We are looking at starting our own grow operation, but decisions like that cannot happen overnight. We need to do our homework. We need to do our homework and ask ourselves if that is truly in our best interests. Time will tell, and we promise to be transparent as discussions unfold, transparent to you. While I do not want to harm you I'm sorry, there are also some challenges facing Indian country, as Perry had mentioned. We've already had the threat of federal funding being frozen and taken away from us. Times are already tough with inflation, a challenging environment, and other issues facing our country. The fact that we must worry about the new administration harming our programs and people is very disconcerting. As a result, Bois Forte is in the final stages of a funding, impact, and contingency plan. We've already been planning. Being proactive in our specific analyses helps me when I go to Washington, D.C. for the Midwest Alliance of Sovereign Tribes, or MAST it's called, to fight for our specific funding streams and stand together for Indian country with 35 tribes from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Michigan. They don't call it MAST Impact Week for nothing. That is why we must all unite and come together. There is no time for infighting or being on this side or that side. We must put aside our differences and work together to a common goal of ensuring growth and prosperity for the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa. While preparing my speech, I came across some powerful words when I did an internet search. It talked about working together and positive impact. Here goes. Success is rarely achieved alone. When people work together toward a common goal, they combine their strengths, ideas, and resources to accomplish more than an individual could alone. Collaboration fosters innovation, builds trust, and encourages problem solving from multiple perspectives. It strengthens relationships, enhances efficiency, and creates a sense of shared purpose. Whether in the workplace, community, or personal endeavors, teamwork transforms challenges into opportunities. By supporting one another and aligning efforts, individuals contribute to something greater than themselves, ensuring progress and lasting impact. True success isn't just about reaching the goal, it's about how we get there together. That's powerful stuff indeed, and advice we should all take to heart. In closing, I'd like to say that by banding together, we can accomplish great things for the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa. Transparency and working together with tribes, state, and counties is the theme for us. Maintaining those strong, mutually beneficial relationships with said entities works. I've seen it. Being at the table and sometimes reaching across party lines to get things done will always be a plus for the band. My main focus is to stand with my fellow tribes in Minnesota to hold the federal government accountable for their trust responsibilities set forth, and never waive when sovereignty is a factor. Thank you all again, in person and virtual. Thank you so much for being here today. Safe travels, and chi miigwech.
Thank you again, Tara and Perry. On our agenda next is our State of the Band address by our District 1 representative and Vice Chair. We're just going to take a little break. Here he is. So once again, next we have our State of the Band address by our District 1 representative and Vice Chair, Shane Drift.
I'm not that tall. All right, it's good to see everybody. I'm gonna get a picture of you guys. And if you guys want to give the Badang sign, go ahead. I always like to post pictures on my group page, and the band members just love it. They love it when they see some of the band members giving the old Boys Fort Badang sign. They get a kick out of that. Oh. Anyway, bonjour. Shane additional cause. Asabi ko na sa iganing ang dunjo ba. Adik do dem. Mino wabigin. Akana nungum. I would like to welcome you all, family, friends, elders, invited guests, to the 2025 Boys Fort State of the Band. My name is Shane Drift. I am the District 1 representative, and I'm also the acting chairman for the Boys Fort Band. I would like to acknowledge my fellow council members, Tara Gizik, Secretary Treasurer, Perry Drift, the other District 1 representative, also Robert Moyer, our District 2 representative. He's on travel status, he's on official business for the Tribal Council. I would also like to thank you, the Boys Fort Band members, for being here today. Thank you. I would like to say thank you to Nikki, Regina, Randy, and also our Fortune-based staff, and the rest of our staff for setting up the 2025 State of the Band. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you. Also, thank you to our CEOs, directors, managers, employees for setting up the booths and providing the valuable information to our band members. Chimigwats to our spiritual advisor, Vern Adams, for doing the invocation. Chimigwats to our drum group for rendering those beautiful songs. And as always, to all our veterans in the room, thank you for your service. Before I begin my speech, I'd like to share some humorous stories with you. I see Tara and Perry both hiding. They don't want me to share them. The first one is every time I see George and Marty from KBFT broadcasting live, that makes me think of when I worked at KBFT. I had my own radio show. And one time when I got done doing a radio show, my sister Wendy Isham, Wendy Strong, she sent me a text and she said, "You have a face for radio, brother." So that made me laugh. That always sticks with me. The other one is at one time when we were having our various meetings on Zoom, and there was a bunch of us on a Zoom meeting, and one of our employees was at home Zooming into the meeting, and we were having a meeting about the budgets. Anyway, her dog started whimpering in the background, and I jumped online and I said, that dog saw the budgets. Oh, so I just wanted to share that. The other one too is I see him standing back there, is our head accountant here at Fortune Bay Resort Casino, Brad Anderson. I always like to have fun with him and make him laugh. And one meeting, before the Development Corporation meeting, I stopped in and I was talking with the council. And I said, I stopped in Brad Anderson's office, I said, and they all looked at me. And I said, I saw him, he was smudging the budgets. And I said, I had to tell him, that's not how smudging works. Just kidding, Brad. Oh, now with that, I'll get on to my speech. You know, Perry was right when he said that we are in an unpredictable time, a tough time, with what the current administration is doing. When logging on to Facebook and reading the concerns from our band members, our employees about the funding freezes that were coming down, that made me worry too. Because if that did happen, how would the tribe be able to provide services to you, our band members? That was very troublesome, very worrisome. So when the tribal council met with the directors to talk about the funding freeze, to start developing plans that would ensure the tribal government would be able to continue providing services to you, the Bois Forte band members, if there were funding cuts or funding freezes. It was a great relief when we found out that the funding freeze did not happen. However, the tribal council is monitoring the situation at the federal level and at the state level, and we will be addressing those concerns accordingly. The tribal council attended a meeting with other tribal leaders regarding the layoffs and firings. One of the major concerns was how this would impact the funding to the tribes. How would it slow it down? How would it impede the process? And how long would the delay be? One of my main concerns was that because of the layoffs or the firings, is that you're going to be taking the workload from this employee and placing it on to another employees. My concern was overloading them employees so to the point where they just resign and quit and move on to another job. That was a huge concern for me, and I brought that up in that meeting. The tribal council will be meeting with senior management to gather information regarding the current administration's decisions and will adjust them accordingly. When I was first elected to the tribal council back in 2018, I pushed for the tribal council to build financial reserves. With the current situation that we are in, this is why financial reserves are so important and so vital. We as a tribal council need to continue building our financial reserves. So that's why I asked for a meeting with key individuals to discuss financial reserves and how to increase our financial reserves. That meeting will be happening in April. Now, I've always been one who believed in the cannabis business. I pushed for the tribal council to get into the cannabis business the latter half of my first term in office. I pushed for the tribal council to invest in a marijuana business in another state where it is legal. This would have provided the much needed revenue the tribe needs. Sadly, this didn't happen. The tribal council had plans to build a cannabis growing facility. When I first saw that the growing facility was going to cost between $7 to $8 million, I knew the tribe did not have the financial means to build a growing facility. I made a recommendation to the tribal council to build a dispensary first and contract with the other tribes to supply our dispensary. I am proud to say that the tribe's first dispensary, Uskade, is finally open. We had the grand opening yesterday, and in spite of not really marketing it that much, and the fact that we were in a kind of like a blizzard, I'm happy to report that we made, actually Uskade made $15,000 yesterday. One thing I'd like to point out is that once our cannabis business starts to make money, that the tribe and tribal council must not, cannot spend that money foolishly. With the current administration in office, the tribe needs to take a conservative approach when it comes to the tribe's money. Give it to the people. Thank you. Now, as we look at a growing facility, I asked the tribal council to have a meeting between the tribal council and key staff members regarding a growing facility. That meeting will be happening in the near future. We need to look at the cost, the location. We need to explore every option available to us as a tribe, as a government, as a band, because the cannabis business is our future. And done right, it's going to be a huge game changer for our band. With that being said, I pushed for a small dispensary to be put in the Nett Lake C-store. I posted about this numerous times on my group page. The reason why I pushed for this is to draw more customers to our Nett Lake C-store, in hopes that the Nett Lake C-store will either break even or make a profit. And if either one of those two should happen, that will take the financial burden off our casino. Because when our store is not operating either at a break-even point or a profit point, this place here has to absorb that expense. Now, regarding the 1854 treaty payments, when I was first elected to tribal council back in 2018, I pushed for an increase to the 1854 treaty payments. I've shared this story time and again. I posted it time and again. The tribal council also pushed for the increase to the 1854 treaty payments. The state passed a 2-year increase to the treaty payments. Bois Forte band members saw an increase to the 1854 treaty payments in 2023 and 2024. The 2-year increase has expired. The Tribal Council met with Senator Hochschild regarding the increase to the 1854 payments, and that we stress that that increase needs to be made permanent. The Tribal Council also had a consultation with Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan recently. The Bois Forte Tribal Council brought up the 1854 payment and the need to make that increase permanent. When the Tribal Council attended the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe's legislative dinner in St. Paul recently, we had the opportunity to talk with Senator Mary Kunesh, and we brought up the 1854 treaty payments and the need to make it permanent to her. I must also mention that our lobbyist, Reed LeBeau, has been working hard behind the scenes on getting the 1854 treaty payments increase to make them permanent. He's done an awesome job. One thing I would like to point out about the 1854 treaty area, and still there? Oh, there we go. One thing I would like to point out about the 1854 treaty payments and the lifetime fishing licenses, I brought this up at the 1854 Treaty Authority Board meeting, and I asked a simple question. How does this lifetime fishing license affect the 1854 treaty payments? The 1854 staff is going to be looking into this and will update the two bands at the next 1854 Treaty Authority Board meeting. Now, regarding helium, when the Tribal Council met with Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, the Tribal Council brought up that Bois Forte needs to be part of the helium tax formula. And I have stressed this time and again when we met with the various departments, Minnesota departments, that the helium is not covered in an 1854 treaty agreement. So that Bois Forte needs to be part of that tax formula. Now, should Bois Forte become part of that tax formula, this will bring in annual revenue to the tribe. I must also point out the revenue would not be restricted. A few years back, the Tribal Council purchased 28,000 plus acres of land. The Tribal Council put that land into the Sustainable Forest Initiative Act, the SEFA program. The funding from the SEFA program helps pay the loan payment for the 28,000 plus acres. There is a proposal at the state to cut the SEFA funding by 30%. If this proposal goes through, this would put a financial hardship on the tribe. I asked our chief financial officer if the tribe could renegotiate the loan payments so that the SEFA funding can still cover the loan payments and push the payoff date further back. This would ensure that the tribe would not have to take on the financial hardship while retaining the 28,000 plus acres of land. The Tribal Council did address the CFA funding cut proposal when the Tribal Council met with Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. I've addressed this before. I can't remember if it was at the last State of the Band or the one prior. But it's regarding our 1866 treaty rights. I have been pushing the Tribal Council to get our 1866 treaty rights established for quite some time. Our people have been hunting, fishing, and gathering in the 1866 treaty area long before it was a treaty area. And I must point out, our people continued to hunt, fish, and gather long after the 1866 treaty was signed. That's how our people understood the 1866 treaty. I'm happy to report that we are making progress on the 1866 treaty rights. As for the language, culture, and traditions, I support that 100%. I also strongly support the tribe building 2 roundhouses, one in Nut Lake and the other one in Vermilion. When we talked about what we use the roundhouse for, some things I offered up is that there could be naming ceremonies in there, healing ceremonies. There also could be what they use, they call it a G-scon, it's a shaking tent. They could also use that in there. But we do desperately need to bring back the roundhouse. We need to get back to our traditional ways. Speaking of traditional ways, Chaz Wagner shared a simple teaching with me when I was sitting there and I was rehearsing my speech. And he said he knows that I'm a pipe carrier. He said, anytime we have gatherings like this, you should bring your pipe. All the pipe carriers should be bringing their pipes. And I said, yes, that is a good idea. That's a good point. So from now on, when we have gatherings like this, I will be bringing my pipe and following Chaz's example. Thank you, Chaz. Now, Perry touched on this in his speech. I'll touch on it as well. As for the House Appropriations Committee hearing out in Washington, D.C., I asked the tribe's lobbyists when is the next time tribal leaders will have the opportunity to testify before the House Appropriations Committee. The tribe's lobbyists will update the Tribal Council at the next Monday morning meeting. As I start to wind down, on a personal note, this is my first State of the Band since I lost my significant other, Christina. It has been a hard year, a difficult year. We've had a lot of our band members pass away. And I understand what those band members are going through because it's so hurtful. A lot of our band members are grieving. And one thing I did ask for, when the Tribal Council met with Dan Rabideau, our Health and Human Services CEO, one thing I asked for was to have healing ceremonies and talking circles on the Vermilion side and the Nut Lake side. This would give our communities a chance to come together, to grieve together, to support each other, to heal together. Getting back to Christina, one thing I can tell you wholeheartedly from my heart, Christina helped me become a better man, better father, better boyfriend, better tribal leader, and a better writer. So with that being said, remember to always try and be kind to each other, because you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know if they're dealing with a loss. So please be kind to each other. Now, we just started our tribal election for chairman. I am going to share with you what was shared with me by my good friend, Brandon Benner. He shared this with me before I was sworn into office in 2018. He told me, you're going to hear stuff that will piss you off, make you mad, get you angry, make you upset. But whatever you do, don't ever get up from the table and walk away. And as I thought about that, it's like, yes, that makes perfect sense, because if I walk away from that table, I'm taking away your guys' voice. And that's something I don't want to do. So, and with that, I'll add on to that. With those of you that are running for tribal chairman, your point of view on things will change. They have to. As an example, all of you are looking at me right now as I give this speech. Whoever becomes the tribal chairman, you're going to be standing in this exact spot, looking out at our band members. Tribal leadership is about you, the Bois Forte band members, our elders, our children, our programs and services, our businesses, and our future. With that being said, I would like to thank the following departments: our tribal government, Fortune Bay Resort Casino, the Nut Lake Sea Store, the Y Store, Ushkaday, Bois Forte Development Corporation employees, for all your hard work and dedication to the Bois Forte Band. Thank you to our EMS services, fire departments, and BIA officers for being there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You guys are awesome. I would also like to thank our lobbyist, Reed LeBeau, for everything that he has done on behalf of Bois Forte. Also, thank you to our tribal attorney, Jeff Holt, for everything that you have done for the tribal council and our tribal government. I would also like to say congratulations to our new executive director, Miranda Lilia, for stepping up and taking over the job duties and responsibilities of the position. I know it is a lot. Thank you to Dan Rabideau, CEO of Health and Human Services, for everything that you are doing for our Health and Human Services Department and Tribe. And I would also like to say thank you to our Cannabis Compliance Director, Sadie Whitebird, for everything that you have done to help us get our dispensary up and open for our band members. I'd also like to say thank you to Drew and Paxton and the rest of the Ushkaday employees for everything that you're doing. All your hard work is awesome. Much appreciated. Thank you. Now, the Tribal Council has made great strides in becoming more transparent. The Tribal Council shared the Tribal Council's salaries openly. The Tribal Council is working on the Tribal Council's unemployment. The Tribal Council is putting the resolutions that pertain to the Tribal Council on the tribal government website for you to see as band members. With that being said, I would also like to commend our Tribal Council, Terry Gizek, Secretary Treasurer, Perry Drift, District 1 Representative, Robert Moyer, District 2 Representative, for all your hard work and dedication to our band members, tribal government, casino, stores, and dispensary. With that being said, I sincerely hope that you enjoy the rest of the 2025 Boys Fort State of the Band. Mio, miigwech.
We're going to switch the dinner and the closing ceremony. So we're going to have Black Eagle with a closing song. And if we can have the tribal leaders come up around the drum, please. What? Oh, Miigwech Black Eagle, excuse me, for that closing song. Finally, miigwech to all of you who are here in person with us, as well as all of those who have joined us virtually. The live broadcast will now end, and that concludes our ceremony right after the traveling song. Before we talk about the dinner, there are a few acknowledgements we would like to make before the evening is done. We would like to acknowledge Gary Donald, previous chair of the Boys Fort Band. And also Kathy Chavers, previous chair of the Boys Fort Band. Miigwech to both of you for your attendance and leadership. And also, miigwech for being here, Nokomis, Karen Drift. We also have Jerome Whiteman in attendance, previous tribal council. And miigwech again, Black Eagle, for those songs. On a quick announcement, if you won a prize from the carbon credit booth, you received a text message, and you can see Nikki and Regina for your prize. As always, we invite our elders to eat first for dinner. Elders, if you need assistance or anyone else who might need assistance for dinner, I would kindly ask our staff to assist those elders and those who need assistance. So please raise your hand if you need assistance. And let's eat.